Thank you very much, Chris. What an act to follow. There is a saying, behind every great leader is a great spouse. And we just saw evidence of that in Taya Kyle. That is the face, Taya, Chris, of what this movement is about. Heroic people who care deeply and love this country, who love this country for what it is and for what it has always been, and are willing to step up every day and fight to preserve it. That's what the NRA is. That's what you did. Just this last couple of weeks, you stood up when freedom was under assault, and you stood in the gap, and you made a difference. I hear this when I travel around the country all the time. Rick, this country's changing, things are happening, what can we do? If anybody sees someone who asks them that question now, you can point to what you just accomplished over these last few months. When the entire tide of the national media and the popular culture was trying to erode a fundamental freedom, you stood tall, as unpopular as it seemed, but you stood for the truth. You didn't let all of the smoke and mirrors of trying to hide behind a horrible tragedy deter you from the truth about who we are as Americans and what will keep America free, safe, and prosperous. And so I'm here today, first and foremost, to thank the NRA, but more importantly, to thank you, all of you who went out and fought. This is a critical time in American history. I think we all know that something big is happening in America. I want to point to a quote that Barack Obama gave a little more than 4 years ago, actually 5 years ago. He said something in a private conversation about my state. It was right before the Pennsylvania primary in 2008. And he was in San Francisco, and he talked about, in this private conversation, people of Western Pennsylvania holding on to clinging to their guns and Bible. President Obama said that as a slap of derision to faithful Christians and believers in the Second Amendment. He looked down at those folks from my hometowns. And we all saw it for what it was, but I don't think we really saw it for what he really meant. Because I think it goes deeper than that. President Obama, in this last campaign, said he wanted to transform America. Transform America. In other words, make it a different form, something different than it is. And I think his previous statement 4 years ago gives you some indication of what he means. You see, this really is a debate about who we are as Americans. What is the basis of America? Because America is not like most other countries in the world. Most other countries in the world are based on some sort of ethnicity. France, Italy, Afghanistan, Russia, all ethnics, foundations, not America. We're all hyphenated Americans. So what makes us Americans? It's not our shared ethnicity. What is it? It's a shared set of values. We're different than any country in the history of the world. We are Americans because of what we hold together as a belief structure as Americans. So when Barack Obama says he wants to transform America, then he wants to transform those basic set of core beliefs. And where are they found? They found in our founding documents. If you would have gone to Georgia and Pennsylvania and New York, and asked a Pennsylvanian, a New Yorker, and a Georgian in early 1776, why were they fighting? You'd have gotten 3 different answers. But in Philadelphia, they drafted the Declaration of Independence, where they proclaimed our independence from oppression. And they did so and breathed the soul into America, brought America together, and said who we are. That is the building block of America. And what is it built? What is that building block? These words, which we all know, and you often hear repeated. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and endowed by with certain inalienable rights, among them life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and that government is constituted among men to do what? To protect those rights. That's America. So when Barack Obama says he wants to transform America, what does he mean? What does he want to transform us to? Ladies and gentlemen, there was another revolution that went on right about the same time as the American Revolution. It was the French Revolution. And the French Revolution was eerily similar to the American Revolution, but there was a foundational difference. The French Revolution also was to overthrow a king. Their watchwords were equality. Sounds good. Liberty. Good. And the third was fraternity, brotherhood, not paternity, fatherhood. Their rights in France didn't come from a creator. No. This was a secular, godless, anti-clerical revolution. Churches were burned, clergy were killed. It was a rejection of God, and put up, instead of a king, a sovereign body of people who were the purveyor of rights. Not like in America, where our rights come from God because you are a creation of that loving God and you have dignity because of that. Barack Obama's vision for America is the same vision that unfortunately has been running wild for 2 centuries in Europe. All of Western Europe is a descendant of the French Revolution. Churches are empty there. They are museums owned and operated in large part by the government. Nobody goes to church. It is a secular culture. It is a dying culture. They don't have rights other than the rights the government decides to give and occasionally take away. I love the left when they look to Europe and say, oh, look at the gun control laws there. Well, look at the free speech laws there. Look at all the other freedoms there. They don't have the freedoms we do. Why? Because they don't have the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution we have. So when Barack Obama says he wants to transform America, and he looks down his nose at people who cling to their guns and Bibles, understand, he understands that the critical transition America has to make is to reject the Declaration, to reject that living, breathing document of the Constitution. The Marquis de Lafayette, when he left the American Revolution, after helping George Washington win the day, went to France. And he brought with him a picture frame with 2 places for documents. One, he placed his copy of the Declaration of Independence. The other, he left blank in hopes that France would adopt a similar document. He died with it blank. But that is the course that President Obama wants to take us on. You sit here and wonder, throughout this debate, where they're debating gun control and freely admitting it would do nothing to stop the reason for the debate, which were these horrible tragedies. They freely admit. You have to ask your question, then why are they doing it? Because they're trying to erode who we are. Why are they going after chaplains in the militaries saying they can't evangelize and proselytize in our military today? Why are they forcing people against their will to purchase health care policies that are against their religious beliefs? Why are they continually going after those foundational God-given rights and saying, no, we will give you rights. We'll give you the right to health care, and we'll take away your freedoms in exchange for what the government gives you? This is the deal. We take care of you, you give us a little piece of the Declaration back. You give us a little piece of the Constitution back. In exchange for that, we'll take care of you. This is the transformation that you stood in the gap for. I know we all focus, as we all do, and thank God we do, on the thing in front of us and on the issues that we care passionately about. But you folks are warriors. You're not just Second Amendment lovers. You're freedom lovers on all across the board. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. People think, I hear it all the time, oh, it's over. America's seen its better days. We have so many people who are dependent on government programs. You heard that line. Fewer and fewer people paying taxes. The government's role in our lives is getting bigger. The culture is changing underneath us. The family's being disintegrated. The church is falling apart. All is lost. It is only lost as if the people of this generation allow it to be lost. You proved what the people are capable of. The people are capable of. We won the American Revolution not because we had the best military. We did not. We were not the best equipped. We were not the best led. We won for one reason: because we wanted it more. We were willing to sacrifice our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor for that dream at the time. Never happened in the history of man. The dream at the time to be truly free, to live in concert with what God has called you to do, to be able to worship freely, to be able to form your families, to be able to work the job you wanted. On that dream of freedom, people put everything down. And we are at a tipping point. We're at a tipping point in American history where that can be lost. And so I ask each and every one of you to do what our founders pledged. Read that declaration, and here's what they said: we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. The reason the transformation of America that Barack Obama is talking about is well on its way is because the folks on that side live it every minute of their day. They do it in their schools, in their home, in their church, at work. They are constantly pushing their agenda. They are marginalizing anybody that disagrees with them, making them seem like rubes or nuts or extremists for positions that have been the bulwark of American civilization, are now the fringe. The Second Amendment, obviously, first among them. Don't let them. You must, in every aspect of your life, understand the battle that is before us, because they do. You ask what you can do? You ask what you can do? Be as passionate as they are about what you love about this country. Imagine this small minority, and that's what they are, and the big change they've been able to make by taking over the popular culture and the media and the educational establishments, particularly our colleges and universities. They've gone and infiltrated all of these elite institutions. And they try to tell you how wrong you are, how perverted your idea of America is. When you stand for the truth, you stand for tradition, you stand for what this country has been to the world, which is a beacon of hope. Do not let them convince you it is lost. Do not let them convince you to be afraid. Do not let them force you to cower. Stand for America. Fight for America, and we will get America back. Thank you. God bless you, and God bless the NRA. Thank you.